Hello and welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I am your guide to the Villages real estate market. Every Monday, I take a look at recent trends and long-term trends. If you want to know what's happening in the market, the real estate market here in the Villages, this is the show for you. A quick word of apology to those of you who've sat through this introduction many times before. There are people who aren't familiar with the Villages, and that's what the purpose of this introduction is. For those who are unaware, the Villages is a 55 plus community in Central Florida. It is basically like living in a resort year round. We have golf, executive, and championship courses, live music, 365 nights of the year in 4 different town squares. There is recreation, shopping, dining, and more social activities than you can count. As a matter of fact, we have social clubs here that I think number more than 3,000 currently. So no matter what your interests are, you will find other people who share those interests. This show focuses on the real estate market in the Villages. All of the information is drawn from the multiple listing service. Villages has two real estate marketplaces, the VLS and the MLS. This differs from other real estate marketplaces around the country. The VLS is controlled by the Villages. It's the only marketplace on which you'll find new homes listed, but pre-owned homes are available both on the MLS and VLS. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to help you research a property and find exactly what you're looking for. Similarly, if you're a seller, please reach out to me. I will give you the reasons why you should be listing on VLS versus MLS and vice versa. As I said, all of this information is drawn from the MLS. And we do produce the show every Monday. The data is fresh as of today, but you should check the show date to make sure you're getting the most recent information. And once again, if you are looking for a deal here in the Villages, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you find the information valuable, please consider liking or subscribing to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And now let's take a look at what's happening this week. For those unaware of the Villages, I'll just orient you briefly. We are located in Central Florida. We're about an hour north of Orlando, about an hour and a half from coasts east and west, although most residents have so many activities here that we rarely leave the Villages. The maps you're looking at are showing you all active listings on the Villages MLS as of today. The size of the circle denotes the size of the property, and the color denotes its price per square foot. Larger the circle, larger the home. The darker the circle, the less expensive per square foot. So a large dark circle will be a larger home at a lower price per square foot. This is a chart showing you the yield on the 30-year mortgage. Although a lot of purchasers in the Villages do buy for cash, many of those are reliant on selling a prior home somewhere else in the country, and that buyer will probably need a mortgage. So ultimately, real estate does depend on interest rates, and you can see that since the Fed lowered rates in September, interest rates on mortgages have basically gone straight up. We're about a percentage point higher now than when the Fed started the rate cutting cycle. And even though rates did drop today, they are still significantly higher than they were 6 months ago. So now let's look at all of the listings, and we are over 600 active listings this week, 604 to be exact. This number was around 100 active listings in April of 2022. This is the highest level of inventory that we've seen in the Villages, and as we're now in the middle of our selling season, we'd better hope that that inventory level gets reduced. Here we look at how long listings have been on the market. The median listing time this week is 61 days. It is a slight improvement, but if you look at this chart, you can see that anything over 50 days has been temporary in the past, and we've been hovering well over 50 days for several months now. Here's a graph that is actually showing a small improvement. The median list price per square foot for all listings in the Villages has rebounded very slightly. We were getting close to breaking 255 up to 257.54 today. That is the median list price for all Village MLS listings this week. There is a difference between the different regions of the Villages. The north is older, the south is newer, and for that reason I've divided the Villages into 4 geographic regions, and we can compare prices, price per square foot, and the sizes of homes in these 4 regions. The first is the area that I'm calling the north. This is everything south of 42 and north of 466. This includes the oldest part of the Villages, Spanish Springs. The second area I'm calling the Mid-North. This is everything south of 466 and north of 466A. This includes Lake Sumter, and currently this is probably the most popular region of the Villages due to its proximity to so many amenities. The third is the area I'm calling the Mid-South. We're starting to get into the newer area of the Villages here. This is everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. And the final area is the area that I'm calling the South. This is the newest part of the Villages, and this is everything south of Highway 44. As we go through the show, I'll show you the differences in prices and sizes between them. So let's see how the different areas compare. This first slide is the Villages in its totality. These are all MLS listings this week, 604 of them. Sizes of properties for sale in the Villages range from 672 square feet to 3620, median of 1533. Prices currently 158,000 to just under 2 million, 389 the median price. And on a per foot basis in the Villages currently, prices range from 131 to 707 with the median price of 258. Now let me show you how the different regions compare. Here you can see on one slide the comparison between the regions, North, Mid-North, Mid-South, and South. For example, in the North, currently 263 active listings, by far the most active area real estate-wise in the Villages. Sizes in the North range from 672 square feet to 2687. Prices from 158,000 to 799, and on a per foot basis from 131 to 366. Median per foot 237. In the South, 80 properties for sale, 828 square feet to 2597. Prices 249 to 1,150,000, and on a per foot basis in the South, prices range from 209 to 528. Let's look at what changed last week. We're looking at how many new listings entered the market and how many homes left the market going pending. The graph you see is a 4-week average, but as you can see, the number of new listings, the line in red, is definitely increasing at a faster rate than the homes going pending. But it is encouraging to see the number of homes going pending start to pick up again. This graph is just derived from the previous graph. It's showing us the difference between the new listings and homes going pending. Last week, the difference was 8 more new listings than homes going pending, which was an improvement. But as you can see on this graph, it's been more than several weeks with more new listings than homes going pending. This is the median price per square foot for the homes that went pending last week, 256.64. Even though this graph is very jagged, it is a 4-week smoothed average. This graph gives us some sense of the pressure facing sellers. This is the reduction from the original asking price for the homes that went pending last week. Median reduction 6.68%. But as you look at this graph, you can see that for the last several weeks, the reduction on homes going pending has been increasing. I'll touch on this very briefly because it seems to illustrate the same point, which is that it's taking longer and longer for properties to sell here. Here we're looking at how long the homes that went pending were on the market before going pending. 57 days, the most recent number. But as you look at this graph, it appears that for the last year, the number of days for homes going pending has been steadily increasing. I'm just going to flash this map here very briefly. This is a map showing you homes that went pending over the last 60 days. I have zoomed in on the Lake Sumter area, and once again, the map is showing you the size of the home with the size of the circle, and the color of the circle denoting its price per square foot, darker being less and brighter being more. These are the homes going pending over the last 60 days. Now we'll look at sales. These are the homes that closed last week. They numbered 28. The graph you're looking at is a smooth 4-week average, and as you can see, there is a seasonal component to this, which I'll illustrate shortly, but this is a decrease in activity from the previous week. The prior week, there were 36 sales for the week. This graph seems to be giving us the same message that all the other graphs do currently, which is that it's taking longer for homes to sell. This is the median time on the market for the homes that closed last week, 52 days. Once again, looking at this chart, it appears that for the last year, the number of days on the market for the homes closing has about doubled. Sold per foot seems to indicate a market that really doesn't know where it's going. We've been bouncing around the 250 number now for a year or more. 254 is the most recent figure. The graph you're looking at is a smooth 4-week average. Here we're keeping track of sales on a week by week basis because there is a seasonal component to activity here in the Villages real estate market. The graph you're looking at is how many sales per week. The dark blue line is 2022, the light green line 2023, the red line 2024, and the very light blue line 2025. We have dipped week over week, but as you look at this graph, you can see that we are in the middle of our selling season. This is weeks of inventory. We're dividing total listings by the number of sales on a week by week basis. Because sales dropped last week and listings increased, the weeks of inventory has increased as well. We're up to 21 and a half weeks of inventory. I'll point you to this graph where there are very few readings over 20 weeks of inventory going back 3 years now. This map is showing you the properties that have closed over the last 60 days. This slide might seem confusing, but it summarizes the differences between prices here in the villages. For example, in the lowest price bucket, the homes for sale under 200,000, the least per square foot is 131, median 187, and the most per square foot is 275, and there are 14 homes for sale in that price range. The most active price range, the $200,000 to $400,000 range, $134 a foot to $349 a foot, with 248 a foot being the median, and there are 320 homes for sale. As the price increases, you'll notice that the price per square foot does as well. That house that's 246 a foot in the $800 to $1 million price range might be worth looking at. I think this chart gives us a really good idea as to sentiment among sellers in the villages currently. The percentage of listings that have reduced their asking price from the original asking price is up to 53.3%. We had briefly dropped below 50% of listings having reduced their asking price. We're back over 50% now and rising. Here we're looking at what the median price reduction is for all MLS listings this week. 4.1%, the median reduction. There have been a lot of new listings over the last several weeks. That probably accounts for the price reduction improving. Although this did improve this week, the number of listings makes it seem hard to imagine that will continue. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal here, or you want to research properties here, or you're trying to get some sense of what value is, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or DavidisinFlorida.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have or research a property or area you're interested in. And if you have any questions about life in Central Florida or life in the villages, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or DavidisinFlorida.com. Be happy to help you. And I hope to hear from you. Take care.